Back with some Raiders talk here on Good Morning Football. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for choosing us to wake up with. Grab your coffee and let's go. You know, you have Josh Jacobs there in Vegas with the Raiders. Kenyon Drake, the new addition. How do they improve the run game this year? Well, he spoke to SiriusXM NFL Radio.
I'm definitely excited to see how, our roles continue to develop with obviously Josh being, the main guy to go out there and do what he has to do, because I have much respect and love for him and his game and what Coach Gruder has planned for us in that specific capacity. But I feel like I'm going to have a big role in this offense. And, with them being a top 10 offense last year, the sky is the limit for us. I'm ready to see us take it to the next level.
Next level, chasing down those Chiefs. All right, this is something we call Control-Alt-Compete. I'm a big Control-Alt-Delete gal. I reboot or I throw my computer at the wall. Basically, one of those two is how I solve things technologically. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to reboot each team in the 2021 season, and we have the AFC West going on. The Chiefs led the way yesterday. Today, we are on to the Las Vegas Raiders. What do they need to do? What do they need to focus on? What changes need to be made? And let's take a look at how they improved this offseason. All right, Kenyon Drake, obviously one of the newest additions. You just heard from him. He's excited, saying the sky's the limit on that Raiders roster. John Brown, Yannick Ngakoue also there. And we have Adam Rank, our guy. He's got the State of the Franchise series up right now at NFL.com. Go there, check it out. He just asked one simple question, one question to rule them all. In order to compete in 2021, what does this team need to do, Nate?
Control, alt, compete, and then repeat what they did well last year, and that's focus on the run game. We're getting Incognito back. They got Leatherwood, 17th overall, which means they're going to protect their quarterback. More importantly, they're going to run the ball. I say focus on the run game. It's one of the best things that they do. I don't feel like Josh Jacobs gets enough respect for what he has done. You see him catching out of the backfield, which shows his versatility. But what he was able to do last year, over 1,000 yards, 12 rushing TDs, not 12 total TDs, 12 rushing TDs like a traditional old school running back. And if you've been listening to Kenyon Drake over the last few days, he's really excited about adding something to this offense. So now you have two dominant running backs that can really hit you from different angles. This is going to be a team that can lean on the run. And why is this important? Because when you look at the division, you have the Chiefs. Of course, they are high flying. They're going to pass the ball. But they really struggle with teams that can put the ball on the ground and control the game, control the clock. You look at the Chiefs up against the Browns last year. If the Browns just held on and did exactly what they needed to do, they would have won that game. Because if you run the ball and you can punch a team that loves to pass the ball, you'll have a great chance of beating him. And I feel like this is going to be the strength of the offense. I'm not taking anything away from the passing game. I'm not taking anything away from Derek Carr. But what I am saying, if they want to be successful next year, create that identity that was so good for you last year, which is running the rock. Repeat what was good for you. Control the ground, control the game.
You're talking about repeating mistakes. Last year, they started 6-3 and ended the season with a 2-5 record, missed the playoffs. The year before that, they started 6-4. They lost to the Jets and then ended up going 1-5 the rest of the way and missed the playoffs. Can't happen again. And there's one consistent thing that it is, and it's the turnover differential. That matters in the league. When you give the ball to the other team a bunch and then they take it from you a bunch, and the margin is so vast, you can't win games. And it sounds cliche to just say, got to win the turnover differential game. But look at those margins. Last year, they were tied for 30th. You're not going to the playoffs, tied for 30th in turnover differential, then 21st, and then 26th. Like, under Gruden, they haven't been good with that. So Derek Carr, I think, is their quarterback this year. Aaron Rodgers rumors are kind of going by the wayside. He's going to be their guy. Mariota seems to be the number 2. And if that's the case, protect the football. You could do all this bluster and how you want to be a Raider for life. Just don't throw the ball away. And then also, let's have the defense make a couple plays and help out when it's needed and make a pick. When they beat the Chiefs last year, it was the Jeff Heath interception that really turned the tide and did it. It wasn't some crazy Josh Jacobs run or a big play from Max Crosby or one of the other defensive players. It was Heath making an interception and getting a turnover. So this sounds very football 101, and Raiders fans might be thinking bigger picture. Win the turnover game, and you will be winning games in December, something you haven't done the past couple years.
Peter, I agree with everything you just said, and I would include the idea their defense just has to be better. I believe only the Jaguars and the Lions gave up more points a year ago than Las Vegas. And One of those memories is a particularly painful one. It was the game in which they were officially eliminated from playoff consideration. You remember it well. It was Ryan Bean Fitzmagic on this play. He didn't even see the play because his helmet was turned around. And there you go. An improbable, impossible
Oh my God.
helmet being, screwed backwards on his head. And Ryan Fitzpatrick makes that play. Couple of things briefly. The bad news is, yes, the Raiders do face the Dolphins again this season. However, Fitzmagic is in Washington. But about that, the Vegas Raiders also play Washington football team. So they will once again see Ryan Fitzpatrick, who you all know is going to try to conjure as much magic as he can for Washington this season.
It's well said. Your thoughts at GMFB. I'll bring up the passing game only because that's what I thought. And I think that's what they were trying to do. Gruden and Mayock, right? What was the answer to Travis Kelce and to Tyreek Hill? It was to do the same thing. Let's draft Henry Ruggs. Number one, and as our first wide receiver off the board, let's go ahead and invest in Darren Waller and see what he's got and compete and be able to do that. I feel like the Raiders invested in their passing game. They extended Waller. They did their thing. Like, they want to be that version that can chase them down. They did take steps forward last year, but to become a real contender, especially in this division with Mahomes and company, you've got to get it clicking through the air. And we did see flashes, what you're looking at right now. Let's not forget, week 5, this Raiders squad put up 40 points. Carr had 347, 3 scores. Ruggs had over 100, an incredible touchdown that we've probably shown. It was amazing. The rest of the way, though, I think Ruggs had 1 touchdown. I think he had something like 350 yards combined after that week 5 brilliant performance. So it wasn't quite there. I'd like to see a little bit more click in the passing game. I think that's Gruden Mayock's vision. Didn't pan out so much, so it should be high flying, high scoring, because the Chargers are there, and we know the Chiefs have it going on. What do you think? At GMFB, your thoughts on the Raiders, on the Chiefs. Yes, we will hit the Chargers. Yes, we will get to the Broncos. Intriguing even in this show, but also throughout the week right here on Good Morning Football.